Make Your Monday family. I hope you stay. I hope you fall in love. I hope you decide to make this your home by hitting that subscribe button. If you are new here, sorry, I just want to set the timer, because every time I don't do that, I run out of space and then I become so annoyed. And if you are new here, we are the Make Your Monday family. We are all about equipping millennials to get their lives together by having one constructive conversation at a time. We believe in making our Mondays because this makes our weeks and ultimately it makes our lives, right? So, sorry, I'm just gonna mute that. Okay, so we talk about life, we talk about business, we talk about faith and everything that is in between. I believe this video will be up before the Bible study, so the Bible study will be going soon. I'm so excited. And if you're returning, hi! I'm so thankful to have you here. Thank you for clicking on another video. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for the subscription, the new subbies. Hi! I hope you enjoy it here. We are a transparent bunch here, but we want to become better. We want to become the best that God has called us to be. So today's video, it's really not going to be too long, but actually I had planned on filming something else, but you know, like I just had this, I don't know what to call it, not an urge, but like there was just this pressing in my heart to talk about this issue. And I was actually going to reserve to talk about it like as we were approaching May, because unfortunately I missed March, which is usually where people talk about mental health, and so I thought I would talk about it in October, which is suicide month, if you didn't know. But God has pressed it on my heart, so there's a reason I believe that maybe there's someone who's going through something and you are really at your wit's end and you just don't know what to do and you're hanging by a thread. So I guess this video is for you. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about establishing your identity and 5 practical ways to beat depression. So I know most people don't talk about depression, especially Black. Depression is treated as like a white man's disease, and it's just one of those things that people are like, no, you know, just suck it up and move on, it's life and everything. And I was listening to a podcast with Mpumi. You don't know, I love Mpumi Ledwaba. And on it she had Ayanda, and she was explaining, she gave a different definition to what depression is. And she defined depression as being your body, your soul communicating that it needs deep rest. Not depressed, but deep rest. And I thought that that was really profound. But generally, depression is when you are like, you're basically in a really deep place. You're down and out. You are really struggling on all ends. And I know like there are different types of depression and all of that. And by the way, like I am not a health worker or anything like that, you know, I'm not a social worker, I'm not a psychologist, so please if I get some of the things wrong, please don't come for me in the comment section. But yeah, I know that there are many different forms of depression. You can be mildly depressed, like, or acutely depressed, and then there's like deep depression, and like there's bipolar, like there's a range of it. But wherever you are finding yourself on the scale, or wherever you are feeling that you are not okay, I think we have to normalize the conversation of you not being okay. Sometimes it's your body's way of communicating to you that, hey, I need rest, I need to catch my breath. Or your emotions are telling you that, look, there's stuff that we haven't dealt with and we've hit a breaking point and we can't move past this until we deal with this thing. So I don't think it's something to take lightly. I don't think it's something to treat as just offhandish, not at all. I've lost a person, a very loved one, due to depression. They eventually committed suicide. So for me, it's something very important to talk about. I believe that it's not something that we should just, roll our eyes at and say, oh, it's a white person thing, because it's very real. If you read the stats will tell you a very, very different story. But depression, from what I found in my own life, is that most of the time it's linked with your identity. It's very strongly linked to your identity, who you are, what you do, what you're about. Most of the time it's linked with your identity. It's very strongly linked to your identity, who you are, what you do, what you're about. And I think it's important that in 2023 and going forward, we establish your identity. Who are you? What are the things that make you you? And so I thought I would start for a change by telling you who you're not, the things that don't make you who you are, or the things that you should not tie your identity, or the things that don't make up your identity. The first thing is that you're not your work. My working girlies, my working brothers, you are not your work. You are not your business. You are not your business's performance. If your business is not doing well, it does not mean that you are not doing well. You are not your business. It is simply an extension of what you do. Yes, it's the works of your hands, but it is not who you are. If you're a mother, you are not your children. You are not your husband. That is not your identity. You are you first. All these other things are labels, or they're roles that you take on. So being a mother is a role. Being a wife is a role. But first and foremost, like in my case, I am Mufaro, and I am God's child. That's my identity. When I become a mother, that's a role. When I become a wife, that's a role. But those things are not my identity. And so the problem is, if we tie our identity to those things, or if we allow those things to be the defining factors of our identity, guess what? When those things fail, you're going to have an identity crisis, right? So I didn't want to dwell too much on that part, but the part that I really wanted to focus on was just, I have noted down 5 practical steps in order to beat depression, or to get out of it. And the first step, most of you are not going to like it, but if you want to recover, the first step is that you have to be a willing participant in your recovery. The honest truth is, when you are depressed or when you are down, yes, all of us, we can say things, we can encourage you, we can be there for you, but we can't do the work for you. And I always tell that, if you're in my circle, you know, there are many things I can do, but I can't do your work for you. I cannot do your things for you. It's detrimental to you. Even if I wanted, I can't take on your mental health for you. I can't do that work. You have to be willing to do that. You must be a willing participant in your recovery. Nothing is going to change until you decide that it is time for things to change. Externally, yes, things will change, but internally and things pertaining in your life, until you get into the driver's seat and you decide, I'm going to change my situation, chances are nothing is really going to happen, to be very, very honest, and no one is coming to save you. I hate to say it, but the honest truth is, as much as people love you and people want to do all these things, they can't completely put their life on pause or hold for you. That's one thing you have to realize, that it's life. We each have our individual journeys. Yes, we can be there for each other, but you have to get into the driver's seat, and you have to be taking the initiative to say, I want to get better, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes for me to get better. Because until you get into that mindset, even if you're told, let's go for therapy, let's do these exercises, it won't interest you, because you're not yet in that place where you've decided, I want to actively recover. The second thing is, find something you are good at. Do something you are good at. Reason being, most of the times when a lot of people find themselves depressed, especially if you're like in the working class or anything. Most people will tell you that I'm not good at anything. There's nothing that I can do. False. That's not true. But because you're in that space, it's easy to just put a blanket statement over everything. And maybe you're saying, Mufaro, but that is my story. Everything I've put my hand to, I failed. Again, it goes back, what is your definition of failure? Why is failure a bad thing? Failure is just an indication to let you know that the way you're trying to do this thing doesn't work. Doesn't mean you can't try again. Doesn't mean it's the end of the road. No, it's a push to you to say, find a better way to do this thing. There's another way of doing this thing, but this just isn't it. So, find something you are good at. When you find something you are good at, it helps you to build your confidence. It makes you regain your self-confidence because you're now aware that, oh, I can actually do something and I am successful at it. Again, depression usually is tied with a series of unsuccess. You're probably feeling unsuccessful at marriage, or you're feeling unsuccessful in school. You're feeling like you failed in business. I think I've shared with you before on this channel how in first year I started in a double major, but it got lit. It got lit very fast. And at some point during the semester, I was really depressed about it because I'd never failed academically. I mean, I'm not super smart, but I do fairly well academically. And for the first time, I was confronted with not doing so well academically. So find something you are good at. Do something If it's that you are good at gardening, do that. If you're good at painting, do that. If you're good at writing, do that. If you're good at songwriting, do that. Do things that you are good at, things that will boost and build your confidence. The third thing is get your body moving. I know most people don't like this one, and even especially on the days, I know usually when you're depressed, it's difficult. One of the most difficult things is to actually get out of bed. But get your body moving. Even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes, commit to moving your body. Reason being that when you exercise, you release endorphins, which are your feel-good hormones, right? And this will help lighten up your mood. But another thing that I love about exercising is that it teaches you to self-motivate. Many of the things you're going to face in life, you probably won't have people to cheer you on. But when you exercise and you push yourself and you're challenging yourself, you're showing yourself that one, I can do things that are difficult and win. But two, you also learn to push yourself. You learn to motivate yourself. When there are 2 minutes left of that challenging exercise, you learn to push yourself and say, Mufaro, you can do this. Mufaro, you can do this. You are giving yourself mental strength. Yes, you are teaching yourself that I can do this. Okay, if I can do this workout, then I think I can face this challenge. Again, it also builds your confidence. And then the fourth thing is that you need to commit to a task that makes you responsible. Don't take on too big of a responsibility, but take on something that